Hello, I'm Deb Keyes. Welcome back to Stampin' on the Hill for another Wayback Wednesday. In case you haven't seen any of the previous ones, I try to once a month do a Wayback. I call it Wayback Wednesday, where I try to take some old something, a technique or a layout or something like that, and I try to recreate it using current products. So before we get started with that, I just want to remind anybody that if you want one of the new catalogs, the new catalog just came out at the beginning of the month. And if you'd like one, please let me know. You can either email me, private message me, however all of my contact information are in the about section of all of my media channels, so social media channels. So please, by all means, let me know how I can get that catalog to you, because I'd love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. Let me switch down to my hands here a minute, and let's hope that this works. Technology hasn't been working very well for me lately, so I'm crossing my fingers that this will actually work. Today's Wayback Wednesday is a technique. I'm going to pull this up. Hopefully you can see it. Apparently I'm going the wrong direction here. So what this is an old one of the tutorials that I write up. And this is one that I don't remember how long ago it is, but I do one of these for our classes. So if you're considering coming to a class, know that you will have something similar to this with directions, and it tells, all the materials and stuff that we used and the cutting sizes and all the things. So anyway, this one, this is a really old embossing folder that isn't around anymore. But what we did was we embossed it on designer series paper. And then it looks like we ripped the edge. So we're gonna focus on this particular technique, and let me show you what the card. I'm going to make a slight variation of this card today, but we're going to be using the Unbounded Love bundle. So the Unbounded Love stamp set has just all words, and then it's got all the dies, the label-y kind of dies that go with it. So we're going to use that, and I pulled the one off of here, and I'll show you what we're doing. Let's see. Here are our pieces. So we've got, this is Pretty in Pink. So this is one of the new in colors. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to bend this up. And I didn't remember to grab my bone folder, but that's okay. We'll just use a thumbnail there. Set that one aside. And then I have a piece of DSP from the Unbounded Beauty DSP. It's a 12 by 12. And I just wanted to point out the fact that although the DSP has different images or colors or whatever, it's double-sided. And although it's the same, it's got a white core in there. So, and the white core is important. Our regular cardstock does not have a white core. It's dyed all the way through. So if you were to try this on a piece of cardstock, it's not going to work the same. And then I also have a piece of glimmer paper, and this is from the In Color Glimmer paper. I believe this is the Summer Splash, because we're using Summer Splash ink, and we're going to use the Petunia Pop ink as well. And I think that's all for the supplies. So I ran this through already just to save time, so you can kind of see what we're doing here. So that's comes out of here, and you can see it's got a little stitching around there. So that's going to be our where we put our message. And then I have a So Swirly folder, and look how huge these are. This is a new folder, and it's really oversized. It's kind of nice. So I'm going to line this up so that the swirls are halfway straight and not, I guess it wouldn't matter because it's just swirls, but I always use the line at the bottom to line my paper up. We'll fold that in there and bring in the cut and emboss machine. Let me tell you what I've got for a sandwich here. I have the thick platform, number 1, and I've got the 2 number 3 cutting plates. And we're going to start this off with the folded side going toward the machine first, and then the other number 3 cutting plate here, and give that a whirl and a snap at the end. That's always a good sign, means you got a good impression. And then, so this is our, I don't know, can you see the swirls on it? It's kind of neat, isn't it? I love it. So then the other thing we were going to try to do is rip. So I'm going to do the ripping first. And I'm right-handed, so what I'm going to do is turn it upside down. And I don't think with this pattern, the swirly pattern, I don't know that it really matters. But I'm just going to pull off just a little bit. So what you do is you hold it, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to rip with my right hand. But you're going to hold it and rip toward you. So you can kind of see by my ripping it toward me that it's leaving a little bit of a white edge. If I were ripping away from me, you wouldn't be able to see that white edge. And for those of you who come to classes, or to encourage those of you who haven't come to any classes, we teach all these kinds of techniques. I usually have different kinds of, no, this is not ripping as well for me because of the swirls right there, but that's okay. We'll get it. There we go. Anyway, so I try to teach all the techniques and stuff so that you can go home and do them by yourself. I know there's several demonstrators who actually do like all the cutting and stuff for you. And unfortunately, well, or maybe fortunately, I don't do that because I'm trying to teach you how to do it yourself. So when you come to one of my classes, that's what you're going to get. All right, so I want to leave room for this. And so realistically, I could probably put this down first. I think I will. This is just, what size did I use? Like a 1/4 inch piece of the glimmer paper. And then I usually overcut it and then trim it off at the end. But this time I cut it just this right size. So I'm just making sure that my border is about the same the whole way down. Looks like it. Not bad. And then we'll put a little bit more glue on the DSP backside. I just love these colors. And I'm going to match that up here and at the bottom. Oops, I forgot to do the sanding portion. This is so fun. And I guess I should have sanded it first, but it doesn't matter. I found sanding blocks from when Stampin' Up! Actually was selling sanding blocks. This is an old technique. All right, so what we're going to do is take the sanding block and we're just going to lightly sand over the top so that you can kind of see that here's where that white core comes into play. And you can sand it as much or as little as you want, but I was just trying to give it a little bit more texture. So there we go. That was easy, huh? Fun. And so now you can see it's got some distressing looking on there. Distress looking. And then I'm gonna use the Petunia Pop. Sure I am. Sometimes these newer pads are very hard to open and close. The more you use them, the easier it gets. But all right, so I'm going to grab a sponge. I always like to, when I'm using the photopolymer, clear stamps. I like to put something spongy under it. Even sometimes it's just a like tripled up paper towel. And then it's kind of inky, so I'm going to make sure that I stamp straight down and straight back up without rocking, or I would make a mess. Looks like I kind of did, didn't I? That'll be okay. We'll figure it out. Grab a chamois here and clean my mess off of there, because otherwise it will transfer to my hand. And then I'm going to, oops, I was going to put a different color on there. I was going to use the Summer Splash for the color underneath. All right. You ever do that? You get to talking and then forget what you're doing, and then you mess it up? Well, let me tell you, there are no messes in crafting because we can fix anything. So, and paper has two sides, so there's always a second chance to try to do it again. So then I'm going to grab my dimensionals here, and you know, I use them all. I cut in between them. So I have the pieces and parts left. I think I'm just going to put one on either side because it's just a little piece of paper. Doesn't need to be like a gazillion of them on here. So this out of there. And I'm liking so what am I going to do with that? We're going to cover it up, of course. What are we going to cover it with? I've got some cute little gems. They're kind of like the little ones. I think I'm going to just use a pearl. These are iridescent pearls, but we have to do something. And then I usually try to put them on in like threes, odd numbers anyway. So I'm going to put one there, cover that up. And then we're going to put one, let's see, let's put one here. And then we'll use a little bit larger one next to it up here. I think it needs another one or two. How about you? And let's use one more. And put them in kind of in triangles. That's not too bad. Kind of cool. All right. I kind of like this one even better than my first one. I like the contrast in the blue rather than the pink here. So anyway, that's what we have. Let's see if I can get my face to come back up for you. Thanks for hanging with me. And you know, everybody makes mistakes. So the fun part is being creative and how you're going to cover them up. And I'm usually pretty good at coming up with something quick to cover up whatever kind of mistakes I might make. Sometimes I just flip it over and do it again. Other times, white cardstock's pretty inexpensive, so sometimes I just scrap it and start again. It all depends. So next week, I wanted to tell you we're going to do a walkthrough of the new catalog. So be sure to join me next week, Wednesday, either YouTube or Facebook. And the video will be in both places. So until next time, thanks for watching.